SUVs were once considered the ultimate balance between practicality and affordability. Families bought them because they could fit kids, groceries, and sports gear without breaking the bank. But in 2025, the SUV market looks nothing like the one from just a decade ago. Prices are sky high, repossessions are surging, and dealers are adding painful markups. A Toyota Highlander that sold for under $30,000 in the mid-2010s now easily pushes past $50,000. Compact SUVs, traditionally the budget-friendly entry point, have crept well into sedan luxury territory. Meanwhile, lenders are cracking down and more Americans are falling behind on payments. The result? A storm of affordability issues, repossession headlines, and consumer frustration. This video dives deep into what's happening in the SUV market, why prices soared, how repossessions are reshaping inventory, and where things might go next. How we got here. The SUV price spiral. From family car to luxury statement. The SUV's rise began in the 1990s, but the 2010s cemented its dominance. Automakers shifted away from sedans, pushing SUVs as the do-it-all solution. But with that came a steady price creep. In 2010, the average SUV sold in the US cost around $31,000. By 2020, it jumped to nearly $40,000. Fast forward to 2025, and many SUVs are averaging $60,000, with luxury trims often exceeding $70,000, $80,000. Industry expert Michael Dunlap, a senior analyst at Auto Trends Research, explains, SUVs stopped being just family haulers. They became status symbols. Automakers realized they could load them with tech, luxury features, and still move units. The consumer appetite was there until affordability broke. Inflation, supply chains, and the pandemic aftershock. COVID-19 supply shortages pushed car prices to record highs. Semiconductor shortages limited production, while consumer demand surged due to stimulus checks and low interest rates. Dealers took advantage, and SUVs, already popular, became ground zero for markups. 2021-2022, dealer markups of $5 to $15 became common. 2023 to 2024, interest rates climbed, making monthly payments painful. 2025, residual effects remain, even as supply chains normalize. The bottom line, prices spiked, but never fully came down. Dealer markups, the silent killer. Why markups persist? Many consumers hoped that as supply chains recovered, markups would vanish. Instead, they became institutionalized. Dealers realized that buyers desperate for SUVs would pay premiums, especially for hot models like the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, Ford Bronco, or Kia Telluride. Dealership consultant Laura McKnight notes, the reality is markups aren't going anywhere. Dealers know SUVs are what people want most. Until demand weakens significantly, premiums are baked into the business model. Examples of current markups: Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid, MSRP $46,000, dealer price $54,000 plus. Kia Telluride SX Prestige, MSRP $52,000, dealer price $60,000 plus. Ford Bronco Wildtrak, MSRP $58, dealer price $67,000 plus. Markups range from $3,000 to $15,000 depending on trim and region. The repossession wave. Why repossessions are rising as SUV prices climbed. So did loan sizes. Average car loan balances in 2025 hover above $35,000, with SUVs often far higher. Add rising interest rates and monthly payments balloon. Many buyers locked into 6 to 7 year loans during the pandemic-era boom. Now, with higher living costs and stagnant wages, defaults are climbing. Key data points 2025. Auto loan delinquencies, at their highest since 2009. Repossession volume, up nearly 20% year over year. SUVs and trucks, leading categories in repossessions due to inflated prices. Human stories behind the numbers. Consider Lisa, a nurse from Texas who financed a used Ford Explorer at $39,000 with a 9% interest rate. Her monthly payment reached $780. After unexpected medical bills, she fell 3 months behind, and the repo truck came. Stories like Lisa's are becoming common. Analysts warn that the repo wave could flood the used SUV market in 2026. Financing pitfalls and the monthly payment trap. Loan terms stretch thin. Automakers and lenders stretched loan terms to make SUVs affordable. 7-year loans became standard, and even 96-month loans are now offered by some lenders. But these terms lock buyers into long commitments, often leaving them underwater for years. A buyer might finance a $55,000 SUV over 84 months. Monthly payment, $780. Total interest paid, $10,000 plus. Resale value after 5 years, $28,000 to $30,000. That's financial quicksand. Expert warning. Economist Ralph Hennessy warns, consumers are buying SUVs as if they're homes. Long loans, huge commitments. The problem is vehicles depreciate. Once rates jumped, those monthly payments became unbearable. The consumer impact affordability crisis. SUVs, once the default family choice, are becoming unattainable for the middle class. Even compact SUVs like the Honda CR-V or Hyundai Tucson regularly top $35,000 to $40,000. Families are being forced to downsize into sedans or hatchbacks, hold on to older SUVs longer, even with high repair bills. Lease instead of buy, trading ownership for temporary affordability. Generational divide. Millennials and Gen Z, once seen as SUV-loving demographics, are increasingly priced out. Boomers and Gen X, with more established wealth, are still buying, deepening generational gaps in vehicle ownership. Automaker strategy. Who's to blame? Shifting focus away from sedans, Ford, GM, and Stellantis largely abandoned sedans in favor of high-margin SUVs and trucks. Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai kept sedans alive but pushed their SUVs harder in marketing. Result: consumers had fewer budget-friendly choices, nudging them into pricier SUV territory. EV push, adding pressure. Electric SUVs like the Tesla Model Y, Kia EV9, or Ford Mustang Mach-E often start around $50,000 to $60,000. EV mandates mean automakers are investing heavily in SUVs over smaller cars, leaving fewer low-cost options. The used SUV market price is cooling, but slowly repossession inflows are expected to boost used SUV supply, but prices haven't fully corrected. Why? Demand is still high, especially for hybrids and fuel-efficient models. Used car retailers like CarMax and Carvana report that SUVs remain their fastest sellers despite affordability challenges. Where buyers are finding value, certified pre-owned CPO SUVs, often $5,000 less than new. Older, high-mileage SUVs, rising in popularity as buyers stretch budgets. Compact crossovers remain the best value play for families. Expert insights. What comes next? Prediction 1. Prices will plateau, not crash. Most analysts agree that SUV prices won't fall dramatically. Instead, they'll level off as inventories stabilize. Automakers prefer trimming production rather than slashing prices. Prediction 2. Repos will reshape used market. The repossession wave will bring more late-model SUVs into circulation, potentially cooling used prices in 2026. Prediction 3. Affordability will push alternatives. Expect more buyers to shift toward sedans, Camry, Accord, Elantra, compact EVs, Chevy Bolt successor, Hyundai Kona EV, smaller pickups, Ford Maverick, Hyundai Santa Cruz. Consumer advice: navigating the crisis. 1. Shop beyond SUVs. Don't overlook sedans or hatchbacks. They're cheaper and often just as practical. 2. Avoid long loan terms. A lower monthly payment today can mean financial ruin tomorrow. 3. Consider used CPO models. Reliability plus savings. 4. Negotiate hard on markups. Many dealers will fold if you push back. 5. Lease if necessary, especially for EVs where tech changes quickly. Conclusion: the SUV's future in America. SUVs aren't going anywhere. They're still America's favorite vehicle, but the SUV dream has shifted. What was once a family-friendly option is now a luxury-level commitment. Repossessions are exposing the cracks in the market. Dealer markups are pushing consumers to their breaking point. And affordability is reshaping buying habits. In the long run, the SUV market will survive, but it won't look the same. Automakers and dealers who fail to address affordability may find themselves left behind as consumers pivot towards smarter, leaner alternatives.